Trey,
You.
how you doing, Brody? How's everything?
I'm doing pretty well, Tyler. I really can't complain. Quite blessed. Got a decent workout in today, so I'm not complaining about that either, man. How about you?
Pretty much the same thing, man. Can't really complain too much. Things been pretty good. Weekend was nice, real chill this weekend. So far, I got a good workout in. Recording the podcast now. I got some other things I need to do throughout the day, but other than that, man, things been good.
Is it a busy day for you today?
I wouldn't say too busy, but just like, there's like some reading and shit I want to do and stuff like that. Kind of just like get a couple things like organized and stuff. May or may not go back to the gym again, depending on how I feel.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. This past weekend did nothing.
Yeah, you didn't go back home or nothing for the...
Nah.
Decide to stay here.
I think the next couple of weeks I'll probably chill.
Oh, it's Stella Badilla.
Yeah, probably. I don't really see. I mean, never know unless something pops up.
Yeah.
I think
maybe something last minute.
Yeah, but I think these next couple of weeks, I'm probably going to next couple of weekends, I'll probably just stay at home and chill and stay here, and chill and not really go back. But
fair enough. Have you, I know a couple weeks ago, this was just on our own time, like, we had talked about like writing, like just like either like journaling on your own. Have you
writing?
Yeah, have you like considered doing that at all, or you just haven't kind of come to it?
I've considered doing it, and it's kind of been on my mind, but I would say this, at least in terms of that, I'm not very like disciplined. Like I used to do it before. I notice with writing, I'm on and off. So like I'll go through spurts of doing it, then I'll stop for like a period of time.
When did you write?
The last time I probably wrote in that book, a couple months ago. I'm not even sure if it was this year. It might have been like, I do know I did write in it during like the time that we lived here. But I didn't write a lot.
Consistently? Like
I would consistent probably for like a couple days or I wouldn't say maybe a couple weeks, but relatively consistent. But then I just fell off. I think I did it a little bit more when we first moved in here than I do now. I also used to journal, too, a decent amount when I was living back at home, but I was coming down here to work.
So you just make that 2-hour drive down.
So I make the 2-hour drive down, work, and then typically, like, right before I go to sleep, I would, like, write about my day. Or, like, write about something like that. And I've been meaning to do it again, but to be honest, I've just been lazy with it.
What's the longest, I guess, streak you've ever had? Like,
can't even tell you.
Can't tell?
No idea. No idea. I guess it's never truly stuck to where I could kind of like count. Yeah. It's not like second nature. Like the gym, I've been on a fucking years streak.
Since 11 was it?
Yeah, type. Yeah, so it's like gym is a little different. Cause I'm like, I've been consistent for years. Yeah. Writing it's quite hard for me to stay consistent with it. Cause sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I'm not really feeling it. Mm-hmm. Typically, I like to do it personally. Maybe I should change when I do it. I like to do it at the end of the day because I feel like at the end of the day, I can still, it's like a recap.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I could kind of, recap.
Remembering what you kind of went through.
Exactly. Saying how I felt or whatever, what I thought about a certain situation. But sometimes, depending on how busy the day is, like, I just be tired. Like, some days after, whether it's work or just like being outside all day, you could probably attest to this. Sometimes you just want to come home and like just lay down and go to sleep. Maybe watch like 1 or 2 YouTube videos and then just call it a night. Yeah. So that's the one thing I've noticed in terms of writing that I have difficulty with. I have started thinking about doing it. One, because it's good to, in terms of organizing your thoughts. I felt a little bit more clear-minded when I was writing relatively consistently because I felt like, essentially what it is, just on a piece of paper. I feel like I was able to get my thoughts out, really kind of like how I truly felt about certain things or how I feel about certain situations. Yeah. And then at the end of it, I did feel a little clear-minded. I felt like it was less like clutter in my mind. And then plus, too, because it's journaling, it's like you could be really authentic and truly yourself because like no one's gonna fucking read this or go through your journal. Like it's truly just like your thoughts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you also get to look back on it.
Yeah,
you get to see if you're kind of going through a tough time or
Yeah.
And maybe have like a memory or two.
Yeah.
Kind of look back on it.
You can look back and see what you were going through, what you were thinking, certain situations that came up that you might have forgot about.
Yeah, essentially. Me personally, I started in 2016, and I was consistent up until 2019.
Damn, wow,
I was really good. I was really good with it.
Yeah, I've never been that consistent.
I was really good with it.
I've never been that.
I wrote so much in there. Wrote about girls, wrote about friends. Damn near all my high school fucking memories are in there. So it's kind of cool to look back on it now, see what 16-year-old Trey was saying, 17-year-old Trey
was going through.
I will say, though, now it's definitely harder to do. Just because it's kind of like you said. I think when I was younger, I had more time, I guess, to
sit there and write.
Yeah, but now I work and all the other shit that I do. And I'm just like, when I come home, I don't want to.
I don't want to sit now and like write. I'd rather just.
But I do believe it is a good thing to do because I felt better in regards to just like having my thoughts on paper, having just like something to vent to. Because of course, as guys, you don't always have like people to go talk to about maybe a certain situation that you're going through.
Is that why you started?
Funny enough, I started to show my kids.
Oh, damn.
So actually, every journal entry ends with like a message to like my children.
Damn.
Saying cause like it's like a lesson I learned throughout. If like I learned a lesson or something throughout the day. So it's like kids, like don't do this. Kind of like how funny enough, kind of like how I Met Your Mother is with like how he's like talking to.
How he's sitting there talking to
the kids. Yeah. So it's like kids, if you see this or go through this, like remember this, that, the other. So that's kind of like how it started, and it's just I was just consistent with it. Where
ended up just progressing into some a little bit more, I guess, because of how long you were able to do it.
Yeah, I even do like the video ones that I've made in the past because I make like just videos of myself.
Yeah,
just talking to like my future children. Now, funny enough, I'm like the champion of saying like I don't want kids, which is crazy. I'm like, yeah, I really don't want kids. But that changed. I will say that changed in me when I hit 20. But yeah, I would make videos and essentially just.
That's kind of how I view this podcast. Like I guess, and I want to start making like videos of kind of just me personally, just like talking and venting. And I have a couple on my phone. But I wouldn't necessarily say they're for my kids. I think they're just more for, I guess my kids could watch it, but they're more for like me. Like I can go back, rewatch it and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I do kind of view the podcast like we were talking about this a little earlier. Like I know it's kind of for us, but I do also think about it as like one day if I do have kids, they could look back and be like, yo, this is what my father was like at 24 years old or 23 years old or,
you think about it, it's your legacy.
Yeah, for real.
It's what you're leaving back.
For real.
So these words that you're putting down in this recording, they'll hear it one day and be like, damn, that's what Dad was thinking. That's what, Uncle was thinking. That's just that's how they were.
I think it's also cool to see like the progression.
Yes.
So like when I'm like 30, when we're 30, looking back to like conversations like now when we're 24.
And you know what's crazy, Tyler? You bringing that up, I'm thinking, I really don't know how long we've had this show for now. Maybe was it 2 years?
I think it's 3.
3 years?
3 years.
We've changed, or at least my personal opinions on some things have changed so drastically. Just within this short period. It's only been 3 years. This short period of time. Like I remember thinking one way. Now looking back on it, just hearing the recording of me saying, yeah, this is how one way should be. And then thinking to myself, like, yeah, I don't think like that anymore. Like, I've completely changed. Those aren't my opinions now, And I can only imagine how I'll think 5, 6,
I mean, that's
10
growth,
years from now. It truly is growth. You literally see yourself grow over.
Yeah, and just experiences.
Overall, yeah.
Between the growth and just the fact that we go through different experiences and stuff. So I feel like those experiences that we've been through kind of would change. Or at least have the ability to change the way we perceive the world, to change the way we look at things. But it is cool, though, to still look back and be like, damn, this is what I thought. This is how I thought at the age of 20.
But one specific one is, I remember saying specifically, like, I'm cool with open relationships. I remember talking because you asked me that question. It's like, "Yo, would you be fine with an open relationship?" I'm like, yeah, I'd be cool with it. I get to have a girl and other girls too. Be great. Did that shit? Yeah, nah.
It's like not a fair.
Year later, I'm like, no.
Like, yo, this shit is trash.
Terrible idea. Don't do it. Would not recommend.
That's funny. Have you ever thought about going back to writing?
Yeah. I definitely want to. My hope, and I'm gonna work towards it, but my hope is to get consistent before the end of the year.
Okay.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Because what's considered consistent to you? Every day?
At my peak, I was writing every day.
Okay, so do you want to get back to every day, or do you want to be consistent just in terms of like? Because technically, consistent could be like doing it twice a week, or three times a week.
That's true.
It's just how you want to orchestrate it.
You know, I think I'd have to kind of see how my life is looking in the next 2 to 3 weeks. A lot of things just coming up, and I think I just kind of have to balance it all and see where I can kind of like fit it in. I'll say this: what I might can do for myself is just essentially have a set time. That like
this time I'll
so like this time, like either like early in the morning or like late at night, like a time that is convenient to me, and try to just like stick to it doing that. And then I also wanted to do the whole 20 push-ups things, kind of like I told you, or just like 20 of anything.
It don't gotta be push-ups, bro. It can be whatever you want it to be. Just like yesterday,
just kind of like getting back on it again.
Yeah, just like yesterday when I did 20 dips, did 35 dips, but
yeah,
you
just did dips.
Yeah, I did dips instead of push-ups. Now, I was thinking but we've kind of always had like the whole daily challenge. It's always been 20. But I guess yesterday I was like, yo, we did 100 dips. We did 100 dips at the gym.
That many dips, you might as well.
If we're gonna do 100 dips, I'm just gonna record this. Like, fuck, am I doing 20 push-ups later on for? Get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I advise you get on. I think it's good. I think it's a good way to practice. Practice is just discipline, man. I think discipline is quite hard, and
it's difficult
to have some type of semblance of it in your life. I think is very good, and I think it's like a good in terms of like the daily challenge, doing 20 reps or whatever. I think it's a good, I guess like not necessarily introduction, but like a good practice in terms of discipline, like trying to get your stuff together.
It's kind of like that small step towards becoming more disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, they always say in order to like do something, or if you're starting on like a journey, start small.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to become more disciplined, like you're on your disciplined journey per se, you essentially start small with the challenge, the 20 whatever exercise challenge, and you just be consistent with that. But one could say you can do that with, I guess, anything. You can do that with writing. You want to get consistent.
It's really anything.
You just stay consistent with that. You want to do it reading.
Yeah.
You know, you just read every day. I think a good book would be this
The Daily Stoic.
The Daily Stoic, or at least a book kind of similar to that, where it says like you read a page a day or something along those lines, to just help along the lines of getting more disciplined. Which I agree. A lot of people need to be more disciplined. Discipline is extremely important.
Yeah. You know, this kind of reminds me of a little bit of conversation we had earlier. You're talking about like school, like college being like difficult.
Yeah.
And how you and even possibly me as well kind of like not take it for granted, but I guess like underestimate the difficulty level it is to graduate.
Yeah, for real.
I guess my argument to that was just like I feel like a lot of people just aren't disciplined enough. Personally, and I could be wrong for this. Maybe this is just me. But like, not that I didn't find school hard, because there were definitely moments and times where I struggled. But personally, I felt like there wasn't no real major jump between high school and college.
Other than annoying than anything else.
Yeah. Other than the fact that I had freedom.
Yeah.
There was no, in terms of the workload, I felt like there was no real like massive jump. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I feel like I'm taking less classes. Some days I only got one class, like, so I really had more free time in college than I did back in I guess, grade school or whatever.
Yeah.
But I noticed a lot of it was just discipline.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say it's just learning how to manage your time. We all have the same 24 hours. It's literally just how do you manage that time? Are you gonna spend it out hanging out with friends, partying, do whatever you want to do, or are you gonna need at least use some of that time to study, do a couple classwork stuff, and then going out and having a good time?
I can understand the difficulty of it, especially if like you ain't never, some people are a little bit more sheltered. You ain't never really had that type of freedom. So like you go to college, which you moved out your parents' house, you live on campus.
I would say that's probably one of the more difficult things about coming into adulthood. And I actually like your opinion on this. But no one prepared me at 18 for like what college would be like.
Nah.
For what that freedom would be like, for how that would feel and how to handle it, better yet.
Yeah.
So when I actually got that, I can understand some people kind of going overboard because you might not know how to handle it. Yeah, no one tells me what to do. Like I don't have to. If I don't want to
back in, I don't gotta call moms to tell her where I'm at. I could leave whenever I want.
I could buy whatever I want. I could go wherever I want. I could do whatever I want. You're telling me there's no supervision?
No supervision.
That for the first time at 18 is like, yo, like I'm free. Like you get to do anything. And for a lot of people,
they ain't never had nothing like that.
They ain't never had nothing like that before. So because of that, you end up walling out.
Yeah, exactly.
You end up going maybe a little bit too far sometimes. But it's just, like you said, discipline. Okay, now this is where discipline comes in. This is where discipline for a lot of people's learned.
Yeah.
It's for you to make that essential leap of, okay, these people, or at least you're paying this money to come to the school.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they are giving you an education. So these people are here teaching me. Let me give myself a chance and actually, try to do the work. I would agree with you. I didn't think college was difficult, frankly. And this is was very naive of me to think, but I actually thought everyone graduated. I thought it was going to be similar to high school, like you just
went
through. I didn't think dropouts were.
I say this. I knew
a thing.
I knew dropping out was a thing. And I guess I was somewhat kind of exposed to that in high school, not necessarily dropping out, but when I went to Paramus Catholic in New Jersey, a lot of people like transferred. So like,
ain't that mean you just left that school and went to another school?
Yeah, but like, how I viewed that is not that you're dropping out, but also like there's a way to kind of get like you don't have to stay here, because even I transferred out and went back to my home school. So that kind of opened my eyes to like, oh, okay, like if people ain't fucking with it, they can leave. And it's like the same thing with college. It's like, if people ain't messing with this, they can
just leave.
The only difference with this is you could drop out of high school, but you could definitely drop out of college for sure. Mm-hmm. I guess what threw me off was not the amount of people who dropped out. I think it was just the fact that it was our friends. I think that's what caught me.
You didn't expect that. Yeah.
I didn't expect that. It's like I figured a lot of these people are going to drop out. Fine, but I did not expect it to be like the homies. That's what really like. I'm
gonna say this, Tyler. It does. Thinking about it kind of makes sense because our school has like a 56% graduation rate.
I thought that's considered good. I don't know what is considered a good graduation rate.
I mean, I can't really speak on what's good and what's bad. I could just tell you what I know the number is, and only like
56%.
So it makes sense that they kind of like thin out
That's fine, but I guess it's just like
it is quite shocking at 18 to see that. Yeah,
like all your homies. Yeah. Also, like no one told. But we didn't have plans. We didn't pick our apartment for the following.
I remember
for the following year. Like we sat there, bruh.
Everything. Yep.
And then like to come back to school or like to get that email a couple weeks before, like like this is where exactly your room is and these are your roommates, and to see nobody who I put.
Yeah,
that's like what threw me off.
50% of the team's not there.
Yeah, and I think that also would call me off because it's like no one's told us that they were dropping out. They just did it.
It just happens.
Now I'm like,
it just happens.
Now I reach out to them and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, like,
I'm not coming back.
I'm like, damn, bro, you ain't trying to let me know earlier, bro. I had to find out through the fucking school. Let me know. Yeah. So that definitely like threw me off.
It makes it a little bit more difficult too because you build those friendships with those people. And then they leave, and then it's
like,
just like, all right, well, now I got to go make new friends.
Yeah. And because of, like, at least our friends, we were all over.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone, like, they all still live in Connecticut and I could go see them.
Like,
So it's like, once they gone,
I don't know when I'm going to see you again, buddy.
I don't know when I'm going to see you again.
Take care.
Type shit.
I'll see you through the phone.
Yeah,
type
for
shit.
real. Like, it's not like they're 20 minutes down the road. Like, they still in Hartford.
You're in another state.
Yeah, type shit.
Like, you're from out of state.
Yeah, for real, bro. For real, man. So it's like, damn, I ain't never really going to see these. I ain't going to say ever again, because we've obviously saw them again.
Of course.
It's just like, it's not the same, though.
That is true. Yeah.
But I think that's what college brings. It's a whole different. I feel like college is damn near like a little. It's not fully the real world, but it's the taste of.
It's a very good taste of the real world.
Of what the
it's
real
a
world
good introduction.
Yeah.
It's a good introduction.
Because it's like the same as like having a job.
Yeah.
Like you could do whatever you want, but you have to show up to work.
And you just happen to live at. You just happen to live at the.
You just happen to live, and you just get homework.
Job.
I mean, it depends what type of job you do. Like, if you're a teacher, you kind of low-key have homework, too, like grading papers.
But like, papers and shit. Mm-hmm.
Majority of the time, that's what school is. It's like
it
real life
work.
with homework.
Yeah, it is just work. And if you think about it like that, it actually gets a little bit easier.
Yeah.
At least that's what kind of helped me kind of get through it. It was, I remember, and funny enough, me and you, we have a similar story, because you told me you went through something similar to this as well, but there have been times where you've had classmates bitching about like the work that you had to do and such. I'm like, okay, cool, but you still got to do it. So it's kind of like, well, I mean, might as well just do it and
shut up.
For real. It's like complaining about it. It's just, one, you're just putting more stress on yourself.
Yeah.
And the work still has to be done. The teacher doesn't care. He's like, all right, well, I gave you work to do.
You still got to do it.
Yeah. Whether or not you like it, don't matter. You can take an F if you want, but
yeah, still do on Thursday.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's like
facts. Turn in before class. And then make sure you have your chapters read, because we will be starting with that. We're
gonna keep going.
I'm gonna call you first, so have your shit together.
Yeah, for real.
Have your shit together. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, I guess. Not everyone. College isn't for everybody.
No, I don't think college is for everybody.
And I will say I've met some very intelligent kids, man. Intelligent kids that happen to drop out of school, but just because they dropped out doesn't mean they're not smart. It just means they're just good at other things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they should pursue other things. Not everything needs a college degree, especially nowadays. Like, you don't need a college degree to make money.
Yeah.
You could be a high school graduate and still make decent money, man. Depending on what you do, depending on what trade you pick up. Some people who, some of the richest people out there dropped out of college and have businesses now and grew it to be.
Truly do, yeah.
So
very, very true, man.
But I think the biggest thing in terms of just getting through college is really just discipline and time management. And I think for me personally, I just understood, and this is similar to how like I approach college, similar to how I approach like playing football and just like playing outside with my friends and having the freedom that my parents kind of gave me. They basically kind of let me, I ain't gonna say do whatever I want, but they gave me freedom as long as like
you did what you were supposed to do.
All my work and stuff was done.
Yeah.
So when I came to college, I just took that same
once all the work was done.
It's like I can do whatever I want. I can go to parties. Mm-hmm. I can hang out with whoever. I can, there have been times where we just impulsively went to a different state.
Yeah,
like
literally.
I can do whatever I want. I just got to make sure this is taken care of.
Yep.
And that's really just how I orchestrated college. And that's why I don't think it was difficult for me, because I was like, this is really just high school unless I'm in Hartford, unless I'm in a different state with different people. But like, my homework's finished. I don't got a test coming up, so I don't really got to study. Everything's already turned in. All right, now what? Okay, Brody's going here. All right, let me pop out. Oh, okay, you want to go to this party? All right, I might come. Oh, you want to take a trip here? All right, cool, let's go. Because everything's already taken care of.
It's when you don't do that and you just...
Yeah, but you have to have some type of, like, discipline. I think what also helped me, too, is, like, I ain't going to sit here and say I had the most experienced life and all the other stuff. But just growing up, I wasn't sheltered. Like, my parents gave me freedom. Like, when I was able to drive, like, they let me drive the car to, like, friends' houses, and I was able to go to the mall, and I was even driving to, like, my football games and stuff like that.
So when you did kind of get your freedom, it wasn't a shock per se.
Nah, because I was like...
Yeah.
Like, if I was at home and, like, I already went to work and came home, I wouldn't be home anyway. I'd be at so and so's house.
Yeah,
or I'd be
somewhere else socializing with others.
Exactly. Whether I'm outside just playing basketball or football on the street, whether I went to Osara's house, whether we went to the mall somewhere, or whether we're walking around the neighborhood, like
being active somewhere.
Yeah, and like I never really, to a certain extent, I guess I had to check back in with my parents, but they were never blowing up my phone like I had that freedom.
You know, I will say that's also the blessing of being a man. Because
my sisters had a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, man.
They didn't have
also, you're the youngest.
Yeah.
So you already kind of done raised 2 kids.
I also think, I'd be like, how I think, like, they probably tired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, let him go do his thing. He'll survive.
Yeah. Like, let him rock. Like, he'll be back. But because I had that freedom, when I went to college, it was nothing. I ain't gonna say it was nothing new because, like,
of course new experiences.
But in terms of just like having freedom,
yeah,
I kind of already knew like
a little bit of that.
I had to orchestrate myself. Like, it wasn't like a shock.
And you know what, Tyler? I'm happy you bring that up. Thinking about it now, I really didn't even think about it that way. I believe the reason we might have essentially got accumulated or accustomed, I should say, to it so well is because. Coming up, we were given that freedom to at least go and just flourish and explore and do other things. So when we did get that, you essentially already had that in mind. You didn't abuse it. You're like, I have other things that's important to me that I have to handle. I have that freedom, and I know the freedom's still going to be there. Yeah. I just have to do the other things.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's pretty much it. Take care of your business early on.
All right, well that's a good learning lesson. I'm gonna teach my kids that if I have any. Give them freedom so they at least know what it feels like.
Yeah, like if I ever have kids, that's what I would do. Yeah, I would do similar to obviously, you still gotta check them.
You gotta be a parent. Yeah, you gotta be a parent, of course.
But there are just certain times and certain things where you gotta kind of
you gotta let them be a person. They're literally their own human being, and they should be able to experience that.
When I first was starting to drive, I just got my license, and I wanted to go meet with my friend in the mall. The mall was like 45 minutes from my house. It's called the Palisades Mall, for those who want to know. It's like in Nyack, New York, but I'm for like 45 minutes away from it. I wanted to meet one of my friends out there during the time she was living in New Jersey, so it was like in the middle. But anyway, like my mom was like, nah, like I don't want you driving that far, all this other stuff. Like,
as mothers do.
I don't want you to be. But it was my dad, and he kind of was like, if he talked to my mother, he was like, listen, like, he gonna eventually have to learn how to be on the highway by himself and drive by himself, and he's gonna have to learn. So like us sheltering him is not going to help him, and you ain't gonna ride with him. You're not gonna chaperone him while he's down there. So he was like, you gotta let him live. You gotta let him go. And that was how actually I was able to go. Like my dad talked to my mother, and my mom was like, all right, fine, like you can go or whatever.
And I believe that's the importance of a father, because I had that exact same situation, but mine, of course, went differently. Yeah. There was no one there to rebut it.
I had someone on my behalf.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had someone to help me out.
But that is why, because moms are going to be moms,
which makes sense.
She wants the best for you,
safe and all that.
And she knows you're young. Young guys do stupid things sometimes. Yeah. You want to know you're going to be
safe,
careful and safe while you're going out there. Yeah. So she's like, I don't know if he's ready. Is he ready yet? But the father is the one who's there to kind of give her some strength, someone to look up to. Okay, she trusts her husband. I trust this man. He's making this decision. He's saying we should allow our son to go. Yeah. Well, if the dad's, I can't even. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I believe fathers are so important. Having just that two-party there just to make kind of like decisions like that and kind of like help out.
Helps.
Tremendously. Because there are times where I personally feel I was held back in certain situations just because I might not have had that third-party father figure there that could have argued for the male perspective. Because I might have gotten it, but because she's my mom, she's just not going.
It is what it is.
She's not going to get it like that. What I will say, and I'm grateful to God, but the Lord blessed me with male figures who did speak to her. And then I was kind of able to
go through that way.
And then she kind of got. I'm grateful for it because I believe I'd be worse off if I didn't know what I know now.
Yeah.
Or have had the experiences that she's kind of like sent me to go experience because of it.
And that's why I think you need that freedom, or at least a little bit of freedom at a young age. Before, I guess you would turn 18 and then you go to college and then you have it. But having some semblance of freedom prior helps tremendously. Just helps in terms of how you carry yourself and all the other stuff.
Yeah. I think it makes you more confident too.
Yeah.
Because you've already gotten experiences, you've kind of gone through, you've already been through things that. All right, for instance, I'm quite grateful for this. I in high school, I didn't want to go to the high school that I went to. I wanted to go to some school that all of the other kids from my middle school went to. But my mother decided to go send me to a town over yonder. So she sends me over there. I end up meeting with an architecture teacher. Now, if I hadn't have gone to this school, if I hadn't taken that chance, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunities to have met this professor, or kind of like talk to me, put me on the path that I am now. You know, I see that as quite a blessing. I see it as an opportunity that like you really kind of have to like hone in on and kind of like grab onto. With that being said, though, there are things that I do wish I kind of learned. There are things that I believe I struggle with at times that having those male role models around would be just paramount. And that's kind of why I think male friendships at the same time are also good, because I kind of like learned from my guy friends.
That's fair.
And kind of like picked up off of them. Of course, you know, we're peers, so there's really only so much they know.
Yeah.
But you can still pick up a thing here or there.
I definitely believe so. Also, mainly due to the fact that even though we're peers, we've had different upbringings, different lives.
Yeah, so you're able to share that discourse.
Yeah.
That back and forth.
Share the stuff that you might have learned that the other might have not learned or might have not been exposed to, or, you know, your parents might have had a different way of teaching you something compared to the way.
You know, for instance, like I'm kind of thinking of right now how we do laundry.
Yeah.
Like we same outcome works for both of us, but we were just taught
taught
different way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the way I was, and I only do laundry the way, so I'm like, yo, this is how my mother taught me.
Exactly.
This is how she first taught me. I was like, all right, I guess
this is how it's done.
That's how it's done. All right, cool.
Yeah, for
I
real.
ain't do nothing better. It's worked for me for shit.
Ever since she's taught
14 years now,
yeah,
whatever.
Ever since she's taught you, yeah.
So I'm like, damn.
It's the same thing for me.
Yeah, but it is good to have like male role models. Even like if you're a male, having peers to be able to look at. Because not everyone I know has like a father figure, but that definitely plays a very big role in certain things.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm where I'm at now because of my father. I mean, I'm not where I would like to be, of course, but like
You're still growing as a man. And
I'm doing well for myself. And I believe that's because obviously my mother, but like my father kind of helping me with certain things, like speaking on my behalf to kind of allow me to like go out, try different things, see different things. You know, the different lessons he's taught me, taking me to the gym definitely has.
Yeah, the gym is probably one of the best things he's ever put you onto, honestly.
Yeah. I think that's where I believe that's where I get a lot of my discipline from. I think playing sports definitely helped. That's why I believe playing sports, no matter, I play football, but like football, soccer, basketball,
it's still,
softball, baseball,
you're active,
any type of team sport. Not even team sport. It can even be tennis, but any type of sport teaches you discipline. Yeah, because you got to be able to be disciplined to show up every day, show up on time,
and you're not always going to be good.
You're not always going to be good, so you keep working on technique. Every single sport has a technique for whatever you're doing, whatever position you're playing. Mm-hmm. So like working on your technique and being disciplined with your technique, I think that helps. True. Me going to the gym with my father, that instilled a lot of like discipline in me and like understanding. It helped me understand delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And I think it also just helped me understand on a grander scale. If you do something enough times, you'll get good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Repetition.
It's repetition.
Over and over and over again.
That's it. You know, I got really good at working out and really good at like learning the human body and all the other stuff really just through repetition, just through going to the gym over and over and over. My dad telling me sometimes the same thing over and over and over, me constantly hearing it, me constantly seeing it, me constantly doing it, to the point where I'm like, in terms for me, working out is like nothing.
And you know, funny enough, I believe I believe humans naturally know that. We just forget.
Yeah, I think it's hard. Even regardless of like if we forget or not, I think it's hard to do something that's a little bit uncomfortable every single day until you get good at it, because it could take fucking forever. You don't know how long. Obviously, the more time you put into it, but it could take years. I mean, even look at us with this like whole podcast thing. I mean, like we've been pretty consistent for like, first and foremost, we've been pretty consistent for damn near 3 years, and I mean, like, look, the growth isn't really there, but it's like constantly just trying to get better, keep trying different things.
I've seen a ton of improvement.
Yeah, like this is our first year doing video. We have yet to make it a year. It's only been 8 months, and we've seen growth in that. But then, you know, a lot of it is just trying to get better. I believe our videos now is better than the first one we did personally.
Yeah.
I think we're a little bit more comfortable with the camera.
True.
You know, trying different things with the setup.
True.
But a lot of this is just like keep doing it, even though we might not see immediate results, kind of like the gym.
Yeah.
You keep doing it over and over until eventually
again.
you get good at it to where you start seeing the results you want.
Exactly. I was actually going to make the distinction to like how a baby crawls and then eventually it starts walking.
Yeah.
Of course, he falls down, but he keeps going over and over again until eventually you're a full-fledged human being that can walk upright.
Yeah.
You know? Same thing with riding the bike. Same thing with riding the skateboard. Same thing with taking a class.
Yeah.
You do it over and over again. I sucked at soccer at one point. Over and over again during the summer. Constantly practiced on my own.
Yeah.
I got good and I got on a team.
Yeah.
You know, it just and then all that work that I did, all that time spent in the summer during the fucking heat, playing 12 o'clock during the day.
All that pays off.
It paid off because, you know, now I'm at the end of the season looking at possibly going on to the playoffs, and I'm like, damn, like this is what I work for. Exactly.
I think also too. I think the real question is how much work are you willing to put into before you see results?
See, that's for everyone to determine on their own. Truly.
Well, yeah.
Because it really is on them.
Yeah, that's up to the person now.
What are you willing to sacrifice?
How much work you willing to put in?
Yeah. What are you willing to sacrifice? Yeah. And for everybody, it's
a little different. Some people are willing to keep putting in the work regardless if no one's looking at it, regardless if they're seeing no results. Until they get there. Some people only, and this is huge in terms of the gym. That's why a lot of people New Year's resolutions end after 1 month.
Yeah, a lot of people give up.
Like they work out for the month. They work out for the month of January, and then by February,
like percentage wise, they wouldn't have even hit like a percent.
Nah,
they gave up.
Bro.
They gave up before the percent even.
And that goes the same, not even just for the gym, but for anything.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're trying to build a business, us with this podcast, trying to learn a language or pick up an instrument, trying to learn your social skills, get better at talking to people.
Being consistent is half the battle.
Yeah.
Just the consistency alone, because people give up on new thoughts, new ideas
all the time.
So every day.
That's because we want instant gratification.
Of course, yeah.
We got to understand it.
We want it now.
It takes time.
We want it now.
And you got to be willing.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be a millionaire now. I'd love to be a millionaire now. I want it now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got to admit to myself, you know, Trey, if you were a millionaire now, do you think you'd be making all the right decisions? Do you think you would be thinking how a millionaire should be thinking, or at least someone who wants to keep themselves a millionaire? Now, for me personally, I know the answer. Unfortunately, it's not yes. So I need to continuously, but I do want it to be a yes one day. Yeah. So I need to continue to work, continue to grow. When I hit that category, become that man and become that person that needs to be that. But it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Nah.
You know, it is what it is.
It'd be nice to happen overnight.
It would be nice to happen overnight. I would say this, though. It is, if it does happen overnight, it's hard to keep. It's much harder to keep. Because it isn't seen as earned. When it happens gradually, it's like, oh, yeah, these guys been working for 20 years.
Yeah.
They earned what they have. If you start something and then next week you're already on top, it's like, yo, you've been in the game for a week and no one's really going to be behind you per se. They'll be behind whatever you're doing, but like a lot of people be preying on your downfall just because of how fast the come up was.
The thing is, I think people prey on your downfall regardless.
That's true. I don't disagree with that.
I don't even necessarily think it has.
I just think it's harsh. I think it's just much harsher when it's just a blow up compared to a gradual climb.
I
think it's just more respected.
I don't think so. Maybe more respected, sure, but I feel like no one truly knows the journey you went through. Because there are people out there now that, like, if a song goes viral or something goes viral and it changes a person's whole life, there are people out there who are like, wow, you made that one song and now your life is different. But yeah, you didn't see behind the door of that person might have been putting in work for 10, 12 years.
Well,
but the public so I think it's a little different because it's just how the public perceives it. The public, let's say if tomorrow the podcast blew up for us, we start making millions. I think people might look at it and be like, bro, you got lucky. You had one big video and now all of a sudden your life has changed. You getting all this. But I don't view it that way. And you probably won't. Why? Because I'm like, motherfucker, we have like 300 videos up on YouTube that no one watches. And then it took our 301st one for it to blow up. So I'm like, you think I blew up overnight. Little do you know, bro, we've been consistent grinding for how long?
Yeah, well, to that point, what I would say, if the person who has been making music, I guess you said for 12 years or however long, I don't see that as that not being a come up, or not a come up per se, but working gradually because you've been doing it for 12 years.
Yeah.
So if you've been consistent, they've been consistent with something for 12 years, fine. I'm talking more along the lines of you make one song, you only ever make one song, and you blow up off that one song, and all of a sudden now you're a hit name artist, and I think that is less respected and more people prey on that kind of downfall than someone who might have been in the industry making a whole bunch of songs, might not have had a whole bunch of bangers, but like they made respectable music. And then, later in their career, that's when they're popping off.
I guess I can understand where you're coming from. And I guess I agree with you in terms of their peers. But like for someone who's been making music for 12 years and then they finally made one song that blew up, some people might not know they've been working for 12 years. So they might still assume that person blew up from that one song because that's the main one that popped.
That's true.
So I guess I'm kind of saying...
But you can still go back and see the work. You can still go back and see.
I think a lot of people won't necessarily go back and see the work. Some will. They could go back and see the work. Yeah. But others might just assume that I've never heard this dude before. This is his one and only song.
I understand that, but that happens with anybody. I think that's the portion where we probably going to have to agree on there, because I think that happens regardless of whether or not you do the work or you don't do the work.
Yeah.
People are just going... A lot of people just don't do their research.
Yeah.
So you get famous either off of one song, one video. They might only know you for that one song, one video, whether or not you've been doing it for a long time. I think that happens regardless. I think that happens in both situations.
Yeah, yeah. I believe it happens in both situations. I guess my main argument was, I think regardless, I wouldn't necessarily say if you made one song and one song only and that blew up and you became famous and made money, I don't necessarily think they're going to receive more hate or people are going to prey more on their downfall.
Do you think it's at least harder to hold on to, though?
I do believe it's harder to hold on to, yeah.
Okay, all right. We can at least agree on that.
I 100% believe it's harder to hold on to.
Yeah.
Just because, whenever, and this is kind of like the same reasons why people who win the lottery typically end up going broke. When you get an influx of money like that, you kind of don't really know what to do. You don't really know how to carry yourself. I know a lot of people have made a bunch of money and then spent a bunch of it, then come to find out they have to pay taxes on it, and they don't have money to pay taxes on it. So I think there's a lot of inexperience compared to if you're gradually going. I think you'll end up appreciating it more. Mm-hmm. If it takes you 5 years to get $1 million, I think you'll appreciate it more. If it only took you 1 month to get $1 million.
Yes.
I believe it means.
Or if it was just gifted to you.
Or if it was just gifted to give it to you. I think it has a little bit more meaning to it.
Yeah.
So we definitely can agree on that. But I think regardless, I think if you're doing well for yourself and you're making money, people gonna hate on you.
Yeah, that's true. I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
I think regardless,
people will hate on you if you're doing anything bad. People hate on you if you're doing anything good.
Yeah.
People will hate on you if you're doing nothing. People just hate to hate, man. It's just what it is. Just what, they're just people out there who you're just not gonna get along with. Yeah. Just energy's not gonna click. You're just not going. It is the reality of how the world is. There's so many of us on this planet. It makes sense. There's just gonna be people who just don't like you. Yeah. And there's just gonna be people who just really love you. It's just that's how it goes.
That's how it is, man.
It's just for you to kind of, especially if you're gonna be in this type of space and doing this type of a thing, either like putting yourself out there, either on social media or anything like that. Just understanding that like you can't take it personally.
Nah, you can't take it personally. Some people are just a little bit more aggressive. Some people believe their opinion is the only right opinion.
That's true. For real.
I noticed that from us posting and stuff like that. Like we'll post something, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with us because I don't believe that's just a lot of things we say are just what we believe. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just like it's my opinion. It's just your opinion. It's just your opinion. But people be taking opinions for facts.
Yeah, like,
so there are many times we've said something on the podcast. I'm just stating my opinion, and then someone just like, "You're wrong. You're this. You're arrogant. You're ignorant. You don't know nothing. This, that." Yeah. And I'm like, bro, we could It's okay if we disagree. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just letting you know what I believe and how my mind works and what I think. Mm-hmm. But there are gonna be people out there who, regardless of what you say, they're gonna have something negative to say.
Yeah.
They're gonna think what you're saying is absolutely wrong, and they're gonna want you to make sure that that you're wrong.
And it could have nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Bro, there's some people who comment
nothing
on
to do with the topic. It has nothing to do with what we.
Nothing to do with what the video, what the short actually is about.
Like, yo, bro, what?
Bro.
Are you even in the same conversation?
Yeah, there have been many times, bro. I'm reading a comment. I'm like, yo, this don't even make sense. I'm like, yo, this has nothing to do with the clip that, with what we were talking about in the clip. Yep. But it is what it is, and you're absolutely right. If you're in this space, you kind of going to have to understand it. But at the end of the day, I think it's what you want to do, and you kind of can't, at least how I look at it. And this is why, even though sometimes I feel anxiety and stuff when I post, why I continue to do it. Because, like, you're going to judge me regardless.
True.
You're going to judge me whether I post this.
Or don't.
Or whether I don't post this.
Whether you say it or not.
Whether I say it or not. You're going to have some type of...
You're going to have an opinion.
View of me or opinion of me.
Perspective.
So, fuck it. If you want to judge me regardless... then I might as well put out what I want to put out. Yeah. I'd rather you judge me based off of kind of what I push compared to judging me just off of what you might see a picture of here or there, or me being scared to really speak my mind. It's like, fuck it, if you're going to judge me, judge me.
Might as well.
Yeah, judge who I am.
I see that perspective, Tyler. I definitely do. And I myself am a private person similar to you, but as I've gotten older, I've definitely kind of come into... to understanding that more, and frankly just accepting that as just the reality of just space. It's what it is.
Embrace yourself, man. Embrace yourself. Around this time,
advice.
Give advice. Trey, you have any advice you want to give
people? I think to the guys out there that want to be fathers, want to be dads, man, it is extremely imperative for you to, one, be in your masculine. You gotta know how to lead. You gotta know how to, especially if you're gonna have sons. It's important for you to be able to teach him how to be a man. I know a lot of y'all out there, especially the ones who didn't have a father coming up. You can attest to this, not knowing how to kind of be a man growing up as a young man yourself. You're just kind of like confused, wondering what to do. How do you treat a woman? How should you be expected to be treated? How do you treat your employer? How do you go out and do all these things? All these things you learn from your father. All these things you kind of pick up when you see him, go out and do things on a daily basis. Frankly, Tyler can attest to this. Seeing his dad go out to work, come home each time. Yeah. I'm sure that instilled in him some kind of vigor to go out and do the same thing for his family. I believe it's extremely important, especially in our society. We don't have men who are truly leading us anymore. So if you are going to be a father, it is important for you to... do your best, man. I'm not a dad myself, but I do look forward to being one day. And I think it's important to instill, a lot of these morals that we have, being disciplined, being stoic, trying to be the rock for your family. Not saying don't show any emotion, but understanding that, like, you need to be the...
Control it.
yeah, you're the man, essentially. So when shit's hitting the fan, you kind of got to be the one to, it's fine, we're good.
Yeah, hold it down.
Like, don't worry about it. We can handle this. You know, you need to be able to put a smile on the face when your family is looking at you in horror. And they're like, yeah, you know, Dad, what we do.
Yeah.
So that's my advice, man. And lastly, I want to say, be careful. One of the most important things as a man that you will do is who you sleep with and who becomes the mother of your child. Yeah. So you got to be careful with that. Of course, you want to be a great dad, but if you pick a woman who's not going to be a great mom, this is done up for you. So that's my advice for this.
Careful who you're fucking, boys.
Yeah, be careful, boys.
Facts.
Take care of yourselves, though.
Facts. My advice, I kind of got two. The first thing I'm going to say is to kind of piggyback off the last thing I was saying, just embrace who you are. Embrace yourself, man. Don't be scared. Who cares if people judge you, comment, doesn't like your opinions, always hating on you, to be honest. A lot of the hate that people give typically is because they low-key admire you and they're too afraid to do some of the things that you're doing. Everyone is unique. Everyone is different. So lean into what makes you unique. Lean into what makes you different. Truly embrace yourself and embrace who you are. Embrace your ideas. Embrace everything about yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's all you got. The second thing I would say is kind of what's on my shirt. I don't know if y'all can see who are watching. But it says like 1%. And essentially this just represents getting 1% better each and every day.
We said that all throughout college.
Yeah, just 1%. Just get 1% better each and every day. And it's kind of similar to the whole discipline thing we talked about earlier. I'm not saying that you got to go to the gym every single day for fucking 2 hours or write in your journal every single, but like just be consistent with it. If you want to write in your journal, try to get some type of schedule. And I'm even going to try to take this advice to where you can write a little bit of something. I'm not even saying writing the whole page, but just a little bit of something.
A paragraph or two.
Exactly, something like that. But just do something to get yourself 1% better each and every day. If that's reading 10 pages of a book, then that's reading 10 pages of a book. You're 10 pages further than you are the day before. You're 10 pages smarter than you are the day before. Whether you go into the gym, if it's hard for you to get it every single if it's hard for you to get it every single day, just try some type of way to be active every single day. Even if it's a little something, just 1% each and every day, taking it step by step. And before you know it, you'll be 10 times better, 100 times better.
You'll reach your goal.
Yeah,
as long as it's towards the ultimate goal.
For sure. So thank y'all for watching. We appreciate you guys tuning in and rocking with us. It truly is a blessing to be here, and we thank you guys for all the support that you guys continue to show us.
For real.
You can find us on Instagram at NOA_podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels. You continue to follow us for exclusive content. Once again, thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. Y'all take care.
Have a good one.